I'm not saying we're all doomed, but it's gonna take one of us to have the power to rewind time to just build up some cosmic good in one of us to break out of our torment.
So, Tom, I think if you try to keep going roughly in the direction you're going, so sort of to the west and a little bit south, and try and get up higher up on the platform, there's a tower nearby.
Oh, hey.
That would be very useful so we can, see the map.
I actually didn't bother with getting a lot of the southwest. So spoilers, the Gerudo and southwest region was one of my last explored areas. So it was at the point where I was at like all of my hearts and all of my stamina. And so all the shrines in the region were kind of like the last ones. So I rushed through Gerudo Desert just because I had spent a concentrated time in the southeast of Hyrule. But I do really like how, at least with this area, how it does transition you more from the grassland into the cliff area, and then we'll get into later a more straight, hard desert area. That it doesn't just... It shows, the lessons, the 20, 30-year-old lessons that have been learned from Ocarina of Time, where you went from Hyrule Field to straight to Gerudo Desert. You did have the river bridge jump scene, but... I mean, that's always one of those old criticisms that was for Ocarina of Time, was that, you had the field in the middle, and then you had everything just, like, connected to it. So, with Breath of the Wild, it's nice to see that they wanted to explore with transition areas to make this Hyrule seem a lot more cohesive, more real.
Definitely works, because even though you have got these very disparate areas in terms of, the weather patterns that are going on in them, because you do have more of these transition areas, it doesn't feel quite so sudden and stark, and so it does just feel like this is more of a real breathing world.
I think my only issue just with the desert is, spoilers, the game does use heat as well. The game, for some reason, has multi-types of heat. So we'll have to deal with just desert heat versus, your flesh being decomposed by the energy of molten magma. Like, in real life logic, it makes sense, but in video games, you're kind of more conditioned that, like, heat and temperature, especially with Link's little, the UI, how it's basically just a temperature gauge. Later on, you kind of do sort of learn to differentiate between the more subtle heat versus magma heat, but the UI itself doesn't really translate that idea that there's multiple types of heat. So I know I personally had an instance where I thought that my items that would protect me from molten magma must have been okay to protect me from the desert sun.
And they're definitely not.
So that's where it's like, okay, alright, Zelda, I'll have to meet you at being a video game here, but I'm not going to argue with you because I'll lose, because you're not real. I did have that tricky bit there. I don't know if y'all experienced that yourselves.
I think I remember coming across that sort of initially and then quickly realising, oh, that's not working, never mind. So it didn't last long enough that I got myself in trouble, but it very much could have done.
For me, this area of the game was kind of where I went second. I kind of did Zora first, then Gerudo second. So at this point, I went from I'm scared of the world because it might kill me to feeling a bit of confidence. So for me, this was where the majority of my kind of exploration and playtime was. Plus, I wanted to be here. It's nice and warm and reminds me that there is life outside of minus 40 degrees. Did you know we're one of the coldest places in the world this week? Did you know that if I go outside, my skin will freeze in 3 minutes and turn black and fall off? That's how it is. I don't even need to say Celsius or Fahrenheit. It's the same.
It's just a low temperature like you were to could you do the thing where you throw water out your house and it just freezes mid splash?
Oh, not only that, if you blow a bubble with bubble mixture, it flies outside, it turns solid, falls to the ground, and shatters.
So those conditions are so exciting because that's how you get yourself to get diamond dust, which obviously I heard the word first from video games because I'm a stupid nerd. But when I learned that it was a real life thing, lost myself that like you could get these moments of just getting the moisture within the air to cold snap and freeze in the air, and it's called diamond dust. So fantastic, love it.
Yeah, it's cool when you first see it, and then you realize that it slowly actually kills you, and then you realize, oh, it's kind of not as cool anymore.
Then you realize, oh shit, the inside of my eyeballs are also made of water. Best go inside.
Bringing up that whole thing of hearing things first from video games and so on brings up a rather hilarious point that turned up to me the other day. We were watching a quiz show. I can't remember what quiz show it was, but one of the questions came up of like which area of America or which kind of state or whatever is known for the Vikings. My brain just went...
They're mostly known in Minnesota!
Because of that. And my family all turned to look at me, were just like, I'm sorry, what? And then when it was like, yes, it was Minnesota, they were just like, how did you know that? I'm just like, Pokemon the first movie.
Gotta catch 'em all.
And then they're just like, we should have known. But it was one of those moments where just going, oh... Video games do sometimes give you some really good random bits of trivia.
Oh, yeah.
Because me in a sports question, no. Like, you should never ask me anything to do with sports because the likelihood of me knowing it is absolutely minuscule. But that one...
Yeah, but Satoshi knew that, so you knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ash, technically, because I'm sure the original Satoshi line wasn't.
It was not. Oh, it's not. I know, it's not.
Like, look, y'all can be mad at those translators, but they did a job, and they did it fantastically.
Where is this coming from, exactly, this tangent?
I think it's... I can't remember exactly.
Video games giving us knowledge.
Yeah, well, that was where my bit spawned from. I can't remember where Tanner... Mexi, sorry. You're sounding similar at the minute and my brain's frying.
Oh, so every non-British person sounds the same? Is that what you're saying? It's okay.
Where is the god? Oh, there is a labyrinth down there.
That is a labyrinth. If you turn to your right and look up, I think you sort of ended up going on a quite a trek around. But that is, I believe, the tower that we are after. Or at least it's a tower, so it'll do. Because there are two towers that are pretty close together in this region.
Because there's the one for, like, the Badlands around, and then there's the one for the actual desert, and they are, like, they are within looking distance from each other.
Yeah, so you got the Wasteland Tower and the Gerudo Tower.
I think that one is the one that we just put the marker on is the Gerudo one, which is the one that we definitely want because that's the area we're going to be actually kind of exploring around. The other one was just a transition area.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get the Badland Tower at all, and I had like a whole like pre-game mission of I'm gonna get at least all the towers. Like I mean when I say I got to this was me towards the end of the game. We're like, all right, I don't need it, I don't want it. I'm just gonna go.
That is definitely one thing I'll say about Breath of the Wild, is that the last part of the game, whatever it is for you, you're almost certainly gonna be like, alright, let's just do this. I don't know anybody, like, I knew someone who tried to do every single thing in the game before he beat it, and...
Goodness.
And he really ended up being like, I kind of hate this game. And I'm like, well, you kind of did that to yourself. I'm going to be honest here. Because for me, I instead decided, literally, it was, I'm going to play until I feel like, yeah, I'm good. And then I did that, and I came out being like, yeah, I enjoyed it. So actually, he ended up replaying it right before Age of Calamity, because that was a decent while. And he was like, wow, yeah, not being a completionist crazy person makes this a lot more fun. And I'm like, yeah, I think it does.
It's up to your discretion on that. It's I going back when the Mario collection came out. I played 64 for the first time, so it gave me that whole like 3D gaming origin story there. But you'd have to pay me money to get 120 stars in that game, but mostly because I did just hyper focus on the early level stars, which I mean, I know that that's that option that's open to you. It's an option that's open in a lot of video games. Zelda 1 opens that option up to you, in which, you know, if you hyper grind keys in the early dungeons, that allows you to use said keys in the later dungeons. The game doesn't discern from those. So that's a pretty Zelda thing too as well, but like it gives that option where if you wanted to hyper focus in a certain location, or within a certain time frame of your playthrough, wherever that would be relative, you're open to that. But it does seem like for a lot of Zelda or a lot of Nintendo games, I want to open that bracket up pretty wide there. For a lot of Nintendo games, 100%ing them is kind of not worth it. Like, well, just recently I've been playing through the remake of Final Fantasy X-10-2 on Switch. So I want to do like the Dark Aeons, and I want to do like I'm doing all that stuff right now. There's no trophies assigned to that. Like, the most validation I'm gonna get out of this is I'm gonna post some screenshots online to be like, hey, look, I did the do. But like, it's kind of really weird that with Nintendo games having such asinine 100% moments in their games, it's honestly they're some of the least rewarding 200%. I mean, I know that's relative, that's to each person, but to me personally, I mean, Nintendo games on Nintendo consoles are some of the least rewarding to 100%. That's going to be my statement.
Yeah, no, I think you are definitely right on that one. It's a weird one. I think they have, well, apart from Breath of the Wild, because this thing is just a ridiculous beast. And oh, look, a beast. Speak of the devil.
Aw, there he is. Go pet him.
No.
We can't really yet. I don't know if you noticed the giant sand cloud around him.
Probably a little bit deadly. I think that they are sort of getting better in some respects of it, because I'm thinking, like, although Super Mario Odyssey was also slightly ridiculous, but I had an absolute blast 100%ing Super Mario Odyssey. That was just so much fun.
And that's kind of my comparison there, is that with 64 being so bad, I saw plenty of people go hard on Odyssey and go hard on 100%ing it. So I know they've improved on it. I want to give them credit on that.
Now, I'm going to say something, though. I'm going to say that actually one of the better games with a 100% award, in my eyes, is 64. And for me, the reason I say that is because it does something really cool, which is also Hay Horse Shrine here. Oh, this is an interesting thing. I didn't even know this was here.
Huh.
So, the game, very early on, you explore Peach's castle, and you see the cannon outside in the castle there, and it taunts you all game. And then when you get 100% stars, you not only get the catharsis to use it, you get to go up there, and isn't it a really ugly Yoshi up there? And he gives you unlimited lives, and well, it doesn't mean much. Having that Yoshi cameo is like, hey, in my eyes, that's a reward. Back in the day, seeing Yoshi in 3D for the first time. So I think that one handles it pretty well. Other games, like, I don't think have as many good reasons.
I would say that my favourite was probably actually Super Mario Galaxy. And the reason that I say that, I'm not necessarily going for the 240 stars, which you actually need to, properly unlock everything, but because sort of the main thing that you get as the reward is I think it's called the Grand Finale Galaxy, but basically you get to do a Purple Coin mission at the Star Festival, and it's a really fun, sweet, nice kind of reward mission for completing everything, and that's just really cool.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, you guys definitely are I feel are correct in countering my point that Nintendo games will tend to have those intrinsic, like a new level, a character cameo, as opposed to Sony and Microsoft, which are able to rely more on bleep bloop. You did this, and I guess like to me, I guess I'm putting too much value in the bleep bloop versus the level, but those are rewards. Those are rewards given to you for completing the game, regardless of which you value more or the other. I don't know. I guess I'm into checklists. I think checklists are super cool. So any type of list that you can give me that I can physically stamp and complete and finish, it's like like you could give me a whole ass level, but it's like but how do I know that I earned it? Where was my list that said I did it? And that's that's personal. That's gonna vary from person to person. But no, you guys are definitely correct, and I rescind my point that Nintendo games do not reward completionist attitudes. They very much do. They just tend to be more in the game, more for it's something within the game that you get to see, get to experience, get to play.
I don't think I can think of a game that has ever actually been perfect in terms of giving an excellent reward for having 100% of the game, because I suppose...
Richie?
Oh, yes, what?
Richie, I got one. Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, like, the 100% complete reward is just... you have this... these opposing forces where it's like it's the reward for doing everything in the game, yet how do you improve then on that experience? It would require having prior mastery. I mean, you sort of get that idea. We've all had that experience where we've done a really, like, again, going back to the shrines, you do a really hard task and the reward just doesn't meet said tasks. And I know that happens. At least I've read it. I see it more often when it comes to the 100% reward, because you are in that sort of tricky situation where, like, this has to be a challenge that requires full mastery of the game, yet should offer an elevation of the gameplay. Like, you have to. It does get tricky. So that's where I see those situations where, like, oh, I beat the game and it just gave me this. It's like, well, what's the game supposed to give you after you've done #everything?
It's supposed to have the main girl of the game come out in real life and be my girlfriend.
Wow, you went 10,000% Canadian there.
I know.
You done earned it, man. You played your video game quite good. So here's your e-waifu.
What a fucking term, Jesus.
Don't break her. Don't do it.
Alright, we should be coming up on a certain oasis, which will kickstart the next part of our journey.
It will indeed, although I suppose my question, if Link, can decide to actually step up onto that rock, is are we going to head to the Gerudo Tower first, or are we going to head just straight in the direction of the Oasis?
I don't know, man. We'll just see what we can see.
Yeah, sounds good. Oh, back to these transition periods. If you're maybe playing this game for some tips and tricks, you see it more often when we go to the Goron area, but the transition areas also serve as a really good area where the game basically throws the ingredients of whatever you need for protection at you. So it's not only does it help, tie the seam between desert area and big lush green field, but you'll also run into flora and fauna that you're going to want to keep in mind, because the game is, laying it out and trying to teach you which ingredients you're going to need for whatever protection type item you need. The Zora area didn't really have that so much since the threat was more weather based, but with the Rito village, you get some ingredients for cold resistant potions that you can then later use when we were at the mountain. I know I was burning through cold resist potions trying to fight that dragon, but with the desert and with the mountain, you are going to be running into ingredients that you want to keep track and remember to use to kind of prepare yourself for that hot and heat protection.
Mm-hmm.
something to consider about the desert too, much like deserts in real life. It's not just about the hot. At night, the desert does get cold, just like in real life. So you do need to have, when you're here, a little bit of protection on the both ends, so that, you know, you can, if it gets cold out at night there, you have some stuff to heat yourself up with, and if it gets too hot, then you can get some cold stuff. So maybe it might be a good idea to come here later if you don't have the the warm and cold stuff. But otherwise, I mean, I came here second and I had no real issues.
I mean, obviously, like, it's perfectly possible to beat all of the areas as your first one, which is always fun.
Yep.
It's just that, yeah, some of them are probably slightly more challenging, like Gerudo Desert, if you don't have some of those other protective pieces of equipment.
Like, I never found the warm duvet, so it's like, I didn't know about that. That would have been nice.
I think it was kind of neat that the Rito Village did have that more slower, more airy remix of Dragon Roost Island. You know, previous time that they had brought the Ritos back. So for me personally, two of my favorite tracks, just not even based on quality, they're just my favorites, using the F word there, are Gerudo Desert and Dragon Roost Island. Gerudo Desert just because it was sort of this moment where I like listened to a song in a video game, as opposed to, you know, you hear the music in Kokiri Forest, I was hearing the music on the field, like I was getting into the moment, I was feeling it, but oh no!
Message received. I'm leaving. Bye.
From such great heights. Goodness.
I mean, there's a shrine just over to your left.
Aha! I found you, you son of a bitch.
We gotcha.
So, I mean, that wasn't the shrine that was just getting flagged up, but that was the shrine that, it should work as long as, you know, we just drop in at the right moment.
We did it!
Hey!
Dakota! Is it north or south?
Jokes.
That wasn't the one that I was thinking we were going to find, but hey, it's always a good thing to find one.
And actually, if you want to have another shrine, right in the line between this and the tower, like the exact line, it's right there. There's another one. So we can do that and have a good time.
I mean, isn't that kind of the Breath of the Wild experience in a microcosm? I wasn't going for that, but I'll go here just fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like walking downtown, you know? It's just sometimes you'd be like, I want to go here, but then something else is in your way, and you're like, you know what? Let's go here instead.
Then faces pass and you're homebound.
Some say she's still driving that piano, or maybe that piano's driving her.
It's still going.
Oh, bloody hell, bloody hell. Alright, go across here, bring the thing back, jobs are good.
I know we're still just in the sort of beginning of the deserts, but I just want to remind everyone, there was a desert in the first Zelda 1. I used it a lot when I replayed it to basically cycle through enemies so that I could kill a bunch of the levers in the beach on the south, because they drop lots of bombs and lots of rupees. So it was kind of my way to restock my rupees, was going up to the desert and using the respawning levers. So the deserts have always been super cool in the desert games.
I need you to... Please?
Oh shit. Come back.
Put it back on, and then hopefully it'll come back down.
I don't know, Richie. This is a planet revolving hope.
Hello?
I think you might need to reset the reset the puzzle.
How?
Leave and come back in.
Jesus.
Looks like there's a little bit of developer foresight wasn't part of it. Very interesting. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. Because I think if you go straight ahead, it's just the solution. You might just not be able to get the treasure.
You mean to tell me you think Miyamoto, Mr. the father of Mario?
Oh, never mind. That's the exit.
As well as the exit of a fucking shrine been a teleporter, mate, it's always been a a fucking monk.
You're right. You're right.
How dare you?
I just saw the large vertical shaft, which usually denotes the, like he's kind of under it sometimes. I didn't see that it was a teleporter. I'm sorry.
Not gonna lie, usually the long vertical shaft is the first thing I notice too. It's okay.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Kind of stereotyping yourself there, Maxie, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't need to. It's not a stereotype. It's true, and I'm just describing my preference.
Fair enough, mate. My preference is green, so we're all on the same level here.
I mean, it's what I like about you, Tom. It's what I like about you.
I'm simple as shit, and that's okay.
I'm just going to tell you now
Yes.
that so this is I think, a very common mission for a very common shrine for people soft locking the shrine and having to do exactly what we did.
Oh, do they?
So whatever you do, don't lose this cube, because we need it throughout the entirety of the puzzles.
Can you see if you can just pick it up with your hands? That might make it easier.
Well, no, but it'll electrify, won't it?
Oh yeah, I guess right. That is a thing we need to be worried about. Well, because I guess it's important to say here that like this is something that is kind of interesting. Is that this really introduces to us because there's a thing around it. This introduces to us another element to work with, and so you'll be using electricity not just through this dungeon, but that's kind of the general element of the desert, because
Yes.
it's hard to really. I mean, we have the volcano for fire. So what do you do in the desert? The answer is this is the place where lightning is kind of the go-to, and they'll play with that in the story, of course, too, because it's important to mix that all in. But that's the general rule here is electricity and how metal will conduct, and how we have these little pod platforms that will cause stuff to happen. Think you want to be taking up the thing there with it.
Aha. I guess that's a shortcut.
Looks like it. Maybe it'll if you end up dropping it, that might be where it returns to.
Now, why is it going to be the option to remove these per se?
Oh, well, it's because the Guardians were on there, so if you were to drop the electricity on there, you would have damaged all them.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah, a little bit of conductivity. Also, don't walk on it while holding that. That too.
Anyone else get, not to compare one queen to another, but does anyone get, whenever we have to do these like trials of take one thing to the other side, Portal/Portal 2 vibes with some of these puzzles? Like you sort of, even with like the whole nondescript environment doing a puzzle, it just feels kind of, I feel a little aperture test subject 666 going on.
For sure. I mean, it's just that idea of, solving puzzles in a room that is 100% made to have them be solved here, right?
True.
It's that exact sort of idea that, that's where we get that feeling from.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah, it does go back to that. These are the trials intended by the Sheikah for the humans. Like these are set with not with a set solution, but they are set to be solved and go through. Versus like GLaDOS's test chambers. She made those specifically. These are things I need a human being to get through.
Right. Now I need to get over there.
You just need to wait for the platform to move.
Did I?
Yes.
Is it going across?
I'm pretty sure that it is.
Timing.
If it doesn't, Richie, I'll have your head.
I'm sure you will attempt to, but we live far enough away that it won't be a problem. See? It's coming over on the left.
Oh, right.
I didn't even see that there.
Mm-hmm. So, one thing that I'm going to say that you are going to want to do is, with that big block there, make sure that you move it, but as soon as you've passed it, put it back, So as soon as you're sort of safely past the entire thing...
Richie, can you speak a little quicker, please?
Okay, as soon as you're safely past the entire thing, you want to put it back because there's a really good shield.
I'm kind of fine for shields, honestly.
Oh no, like I'm saying, this is like it's a 35 hit point shield.
Okay, so what are you wanting me to do exactly?
So you want to push that block all the way to the end.
Yeah, further, because you only got about halfway through with it, so you can push it till it's on the platform there.
So basically you want to push it, obviously when you're able to, all the way to the end, so that then, you know, you can safely pass by. But then as soon as you've sort of hit past onto the moving right, you can then move it back. And then you can obviously leap from this platform onto that platform to get the chest.
Booyah.
It says that you can, you know, glide over to the altar if you want to. But probably is safer just to wait for that thing to pop back.
Let's see, which shield do I want?
So yeah, so this will be the strongest shield that we will have probably for a while.
Nice.
I love how one of the most useful just headgears in this game is just Link tying his hair back in a bandana so he's a little pirate and doesn't get sweat all over his face.
It's a stylish look. I like it. You know, I know there's some people who are really believe that, like, you know, Link and the green hat are so synonymous that, you know, they need to be together. I'm fine with bandana Link. I think it's fine.
They did a whole game though. That's the thing. Like, if anything, like, change his shoes, change his tunic. Those are pretty malleable. You can change those around. But like, the hat has a whole goddamn gaming character that says this. That what was his name? Ezio. He goes on Link's head. Like, but that's why I think it's like that. The green hat is not the best hat in this game. It's just the bandana that lets you hold on to rocks a bit better.
Alrighty, got a few shrines under our belt, so I guess we can finally head to the oasis and progress the story.
So we're not going to go for the tower yet?
It'll be tough to get up to the tower from where we're at, because we're really down low. We will be going up around that area for the story, so as such, I wouldn't worry about that too much. We'll be heading there eventually, so I think the better idea would definitely be... Also, hey, the sandstorm's gone. That was part of this quest.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that will be something that we can definitely do on the way up there. So, I think for now, it makes more sense. Head on over to the oasis. We're down here anyways.
Also, I didn't think Tom really had enough breath in him to throw in a tower into that sense as well.
That's what they always say about me, mate. Oh, he has more breath than one would expect.
Such hot air!
Yeah, that's also how they describe me. Oh, bloody hell, it's cold.
Oh, I love when our shiver boy shivers.
Look at his little red nose looking like a Tumblr fan art.
Fuck off.
Sorry. It's all I think of when I see red noses.
I only brought that up as a necessity. I made a point about that.
That scared the shit out of me, because I thought that was the Lizalfos roaring.
Yeah. His rage right in front of you.
Oh. Majestic.
Dang, look at them Nikes.
I know!
They're so full of malice.
Oh, found the Boris with the Timbs. Oh, shit.
Oh, I want to do art.
How does Vondaboris have such drip?
Rishi is just like, what the hell are they talking about right now?
Drip is synonymous with swag, which is synonymous with high fashion.